In April of 2026, a family in India plugged in their electric vehicle to charge overnight. By morning, 7 people were dead. That same week in Pennsylvania, a woman sitting in her car at a shopping plaza heard a loud pop. Within seconds, the vehicle was engulfed in flames. She barely made it out. And in Manchester, New Hampshire, firefighters needed over 20,000 gallons of water to contain a single EV fire. These are not freak accidents. These are symptoms of a problem the electric vehicle industry has quietly struggled with for years. And today, we are going to break down exactly why EV batteries catch fire, the real, science-backed causes that most people have never heard explained properly. Let's get into it. EV charging station at night, quiet parking garage, rapid cut news headlines about EV fires in 2025-2026. Before we get into the causes, I want to establish something important. EV fires are statistically less common per mile driven than gasoline car fires. That's a fact. Internal combustion engine vehicles catch fire at roughly 4 times the rate of electric vehicles when you measure by miles traveled. So why does it feel like EV fires are everywhere right now? 2 reasons. First, when an EV catches fire, it burns differently. It burns longer, it burns hotter, and it is vastly harder to extinguish. We're talking about temperatures reaching up to 900 degrees Celsius. Traditional fire suppression barely touches it. That's why 20,000 gallons of water were needed in New Hampshire for a single vehicle. Second, a lithium battery fire can reignite hours, days, even weeks after it appears to be out. Tow yards have learned this the hard way. That St. Clair County incident, one EV that had been sitting in a tow lot, destroyed over 100 other vehicles because the battery reignited without warning. So while the frequency might be lower than gasoline fires, the severity, the unpredictability, and the danger are in a completely different category. Now let's talk about what actually causes them. Every EV fire, regardless of the specific trigger, typically ends the same way through a process called thermal runaway. Here is what happens. A lithium-ion battery pack contains thousands of individual cells. Each cell is essentially a pressurized chemical reaction. When one of those cells begins to overheat, it doesn't just stay overheated. The heat it generates triggers neighboring cells to overheat. Those cells trigger more cells. And within seconds, you have a chain reaction that is nearly impossible to stop from the outside. But the problem isn't just the heat. As the cells break down, they release flammable gases, hydrogen, methane, carbon monoxide, and something particularly dangerous called hydrogen fluoride. This is a colorless, odorless gas that is lethal in small concentrations. That's why 30 firefighters in Colorado needed full decontamination. After battling a hybrid garage fire in December 2025, their protective gear was pulled from service entirely. And here's what makes thermal runaway unlike any other fire. The battery creates its own oxygen during the reaction. You cannot smother an EV fire the way you can a conventional car fire. The chemical process is self-sustaining, which is why standard fire blankets and extinguishers simply don't work. Thermal runaway is the mechanism behind almost every EV fire. But what starts it in the first place? Let's break that down cause by cause. Let's start with the most common trigger, charging behavior. Most EV manufacturers recommend keeping your battery at or below 80% for everyday use. There is a very specific reason for this, and it goes far deeper than battery longevity. When a lithium-ion cell is pushed beyond its designed voltage, sealing a process called overcharging, something called lithium plating begins to occur. Lithium metal starts depositing on the anode surface of the cell. Over time, these deposits grow into microscopic metal spikes called dendrites. And those dendrites can pierce through the cell's separator, the thin film that keeps the positive and negative electrodes from touching. When the separator is breached, you have an internal short circuit. The short circuit generates heat, and heat triggers thermal runaway. Now, most modern EVs have battery management systems, specifically designed to prevent overcharging. But those systems are software, and software has bugs. In February 2026, Mercedes issued a recall specifically because a fault in the battery management software could cause a fire while the vehicle was recharging or while it was simply parked. The woman in Pennsylvania who was forced to run from her burning car, her Mercedes EQB had that exact recall open. She hadn't had the battery serviced yet. This is not a rare edge case. It is happening right now to real people, in vehicles sitting in driveways across the country. Here is where EV owners need to pay very close attention. Your EV's battery pack sits in the floor of the vehicle, the lowest point of the car. It is designed with protective casing, but it is also the most exposed component to real-world road hazards: potholes, curbs, road debris, and low-speed collisions. The problem with battery damage is that it is often completely invisible in the immediate aftermath. Imagine driving over a piece of metal debris on the highway. The debris doesn't fully puncture the battery pack. It just compresses a small section, enough to weaken a few cells internally. You get home. The car looks fine. No warning lights. You plug it in. And then, hours later, while the car is charging in your garage, those compressed cells begin to heat up. The charging current stresses cells that no longer have the structural integrity to handle it. And at 2 a.m., while your family is asleep, thermal runaway begins. This is why fire safety experts have a consistent message. If your EV is involved in any collision, even a minor parking lot fender, bender, have the battery pack professionally inspected before charging again. Not the bumper, not the body panels, the battery. And we can't ignore flood damage. Salt water from coastal flooding, from driving through standing water, is electrically conductive. Salt water entering the battery pack creates short circuits across multiple cells simultaneously. Some EV fires have started days or even weeks after a vehicle drove through a flooded road. The owner had no idea the damage was already done. DC fast charging is one of the most compelling features of the modern EV. Pull up to a fast charger and in 20 or 30 minutes, you're back on the road. That's genuinely impressive technology. But it comes with a thermal cost that most owners never think about. Fast charging works by pushing enormous amounts of electrical current into the battery in a very short window of time. The faster you push current through any conductor, the more heat is generated. That's basic physics, and it applies inside your battery pack just as it does everywhere else. Modern EVs have active thermal management systems, typically liquid cooling specifically designed to handle fast charging heat. But those systems have limits. Charge above a certain temperature threshold. Charge a battery that's already showing degradation. Charge in high ambient temperatures on a 95-degree summer day. And the thermal management system can be overwhelmed. This is why manufacturers build in automatic charging speed tapering at 80%. Above that threshold, the system deliberately slows down the charge rate to prevent heat accumulation. The moment that safeguard is bypassed through third-party charging solutions, aftermarket modifications, or consistent software overrides, you are making a calculated risk with a high-temperature chemical system in an enclosed battery pack. One practical note from fire safety experts: they increasingly recommend charging EVs outside or in open structures rather than enclosed garages. Not because a fire is statistically likely, but because if one does start, an enclosed garage eliminates almost all escape margin for your family. Quick pause if you're finding this breakdown useful. Hit that subscribe button for more honest, data-driven EV content. And drop a comment below right now. Are you currently charging your EV in a garage? I want to know what safety measures you've put in place. Back to it. Here's a cause that the EV industry is deeply uncomfortable talking about publicly: manufacturing defects. The lithium-ion cells inside an EV battery pack are produced in massive quantities, millions of cells, each requiring precise chemical composition and assembly under extremely controlled conditions. And despite incredibly sophisticated quality control, microscopic contamination does slip through. A single metallic particle invisible to the naked eye can land in the wrong position during cell assembly. That particle creates a micro defect in the separator layer. The defect may lie completely dormant for months, for years, and then under the right conditions, a fast charge cycle, an unusually hot day, a surge in power demand, that micro defect triggers an internal short circuit, and the fire starts from the inside out. This is particularly concerning because it cannot be predicted and it cannot be detected by the driver or by a standard diagnostic scan. There are no warning lights, no unusual sounds. The vehicle appears perfectly normal right up until the moment it isn't. This is also the reason we have seen massive battery recalls from virtually every major EV manufacturer: Chevrolet Bolt, Hyundai Ioniq, Mercedes, and others. When a manufacturing defect causes a statistical clustering of fires, a recall is issued. But recalls require owners to actively respond, and a significant number of EV fires happen in vehicles with open, unaddressed recalls sitting in people's driveways right now. This is a cause that most EV buyers have never heard discussed. And it may be the most important one when it comes to your actual safety risk. Not all EV batteries are built the same. The two dominant lithium-ion chemistries in today's EVs are NMC nickel manganese, cobalt and LFP lithium iron phosphate. They have fundamentally different fire risk profiles. NMC batteries are energy dense. They give you more range per kilogram of battery weight. That's why most premium long-range EVs use them. But they are also more thermally unstable. When an NMC cell enters thermal runaway, it releases more heat, generates more flammable gas, and triggers faster cell-to-cell propagation through the pack. LFP batteries, the chemistry, Tesla now uses in its entry-level Model 3 and Model Y, and the dominant chemistry used by Chinese manufacturers like BYD are significantly more thermally stable. Their chemical structure requires far more energy to trigger thermal runaway. LFP fires still happen, but they are slower to develop, less violent in propagation, and considerably easier to contain. Why does this matter right now in 2026? Because a significant portion of the used EV market vehicles from 2019 to 2022 are NMC chemistry cars that are now aging, experiencing natural degradation, and in some cases have been in minor accidents that may have gone unaddressed. These are the vehicles that carry the highest fire risk as they enter the second half of their battery life. If you are buying a used EV, knowing the battery chemistry is not an optional detail. It is a financial and safety decision that belongs at the top of your checklist. Let's talk about the uncomfortable truth about battery aging. A new EV battery is a precisely engineered system operating within tight tolerances. An older battery, one with 80,000 or 120,000 miles, or one that has been repeatedly fast charged and discharged over 5 or 6 years, is a fundamentally different system. As cells age, they accumulate internal resistance. The separator layer degrades. The chemical compounds in the electrodes break down at a microscopic level, and the thermal management system that once kept temperatures safely in range now has to work significantly harder to compensate for cells that generate more heat under the same workload. Aging batteries are more vulnerable to internal short circuits under conditions that a new battery would handle without issue. They are also more likely to experience what's called cell reversal, where a fully depleted cell in a series is actually forced to charge in reverse by its neighbors, generating heat from within the cell rather than from the outside. Here is the uncomfortable math. The average EV fire does not happen in a brand new vehicle. It happens in vehicles that are 2 to 6 years old, have experienced measurable degradation, and are being operated with the same charging habits and assumptions the owner had when the battery was new. Your battery has changed. Your charging behavior probably hasn't. This matters enormously for the used EV market, which is where millions of buyers are heading right now as new EV prices remain elevated. A used EV is not a new EV. It carries a different risk profile, and that risk profile needs to be part of the conversation. Now that we've been through the causes, let me give you the practical side. Because information is only useful if it actually changes your behavior. Here is what the data and fire safety professionals consistently recommend. Number 1, charge to 80% for daily use. Reserve 100% charges for road trips when you genuinely need the range. This directly reduces the voltage stress conditions that trigger lithium plating and internal short circuits. Number 2, use only the manufacturer-approved charger. Third-party level 1 and level 2 chargers, particularly inexpensive ones, may lack the safety cutoffs built into OEM-certified equipment. Number 3, after any collision, even a minor one, do not charge the vehicle until the battery pack has been professionally inspected. The damage you cannot see is the most dangerous kind. Number 4, if possible, charge outside or in an open structure, not in an enclosed garage. If you charge in a garage, install working smoke alarms directly in that space and keep a clear, unobstructed exit path. Number 5, check your recall status today. Go to the NHTSA recall database at nhtsa.gov. Enter your VIN number and verify there are no open recalls on your vehicle. If there are, address them before your next charge cycle. Number 6, if you hear popping sounds, smell something unusual, or see a battery temperature warning on your dashboard, evacuate immediately. Don't try to drive it to a safer location. Get yourself and everyone in the vehicle clear and call 911. And if you're in the market for a used EV, ask specifically about battery, chemistry, and charge history. These are not secondary questions. They are the first line of your safety assessment. Here's the bottom line. EV battery fires are not a reason to avoid electric vehicles entirely. The statistics are clear: you are less likely to experience a vehicle fire in an EV than in a gasoline car when measured by miles driven. That data is not going away. But the nature of lithium battery fires and the intensity, the speed, the self-sustaining chemistry, the toxic gas profile, and the reignition risk means that complacency is not an option. These risks are manageable, but only if you actually manage them. The technology is advancing. Solid-state batteries, which eliminate the liquid electrolyte that makes current lithium-ion chemistry so thermally volatile, are coming. That development may fundamentally change this conversation within the next decade. But right now in 2026, the market is speaking clearly. The technology is impressive, but the responsibility of ownership is real. Understand what chemistry is in your battery. Charge it with discipline. Know the warning signs. If you found this breakdown helpful, and I hope you did, hit that subscribe button for more honest, data-driven EV content. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment down below. Are you changing any of your charging habits after watching this?